in 3, 2, 1.
This is Packard Pokset, and I'm poking at your news. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another fine edition of Packard Pokset. I am your immutable and unmutable host, but not uncrashing host, Packard Sonic. Joining us tonight on my out in the far south me, out in Illinois land, is Dan, real unrelated Johnson.
Yo!
And a bottle of rum.
It's right over here.
Yeah. Share, man, share. And joining us again tonight from her sabbatical from last week is Medusa Rants.
Whoa, from the West Coast.
Yes. Yeah, we got her audio issues fixed. That was her.
Woohoo!
She had a little bit of hardware issues last week, and we got those solved. Unfortunately, Joe will not be joining us tonight. He had other obligations. He had to find some babies for this weekend, you know, to make into sandwiches. No, I'm just kidding.
God. So we talk about each other when we're gone. I see what happens.
That's right. How long have you been on the show now?
Long enough.
Yes.
To know.
Yes. No, you know how they always say us atheists always eat babies, so I just... at the weekend, you got to have extra meat, you know. So.
Nom, 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 nom.
Oh, well, we got a good show for you tonight. And let's get into our first topic. Now, back earlier when President Obama got into office, he killed off the NASA space program a little bit there. He diverted some funds away from it, and everybody started screaming, "No, can't do that, Obama! Please don't do that." Well, I think his motivations behind that was to encourage privates, not so much private citizens, but private companies to work on their own space capsules to get into outer space. And that's exactly what happened earlier this week. A private company called SpaceX made history Friday by docking with the space station with its Dragon capsule, which is basically based kind of on the older style capsules that they used to use back from like Gemini and whatnot. When it comes back down, it's going to have to land in the ocean. It's really significant because this has always been in the hands of government officials and big agencies. Now we're getting this down to the point where smaller agencies, well, private companies are going to be able to do this themselves. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, this is very cool. We were up at the right time to watch the launch, and it was pretty awesome. What I find very sad is the small amount of news coverage this type of thing is getting. Mm-hmm. In comparison to what we used to see in the in the 70s and 80s, it seemed like a launch was top news, front page stuff, and it's like now with the launch. I didn't, there was hardly anything on CNN or that with stuff going on. They get a few minute blurb, and then back to people talking about Facebook's IPO failure.
Yeah.
What's I just don't get it.
Yeah. I think
it's very cool that Dragon was launched and snagged by the ISS, and SpaceX is. Going along to be at the forefront of this kind of thing now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think part of the issue is why it hasn't had that much coverage is because this has become we've done this so often it's become old hat. It's like watching, unless it was like the last space shuttle launch, the space shuttle launches in between, they had less and less visitors, I'm sure, and it didn't get as much coverage because it was like, it's almost routine now. Like, we're going into space, big deal, yada yada. And plus we're going capsules again. So like, oh, it's a capsule. yawn. I mean, this is their thought process, not mine. But I mean, because if it doesn't have wings on it and it doesn't have like lasers all over it and it looks really mean or whatever, we don't want to look at it. Which, you know, big deal. Medusa, your thoughts?
Oh, well, I'm really excited about this also. I mean, I remember watching the space launches when I was a kid. Like Dan said, it was a tremendously exciting thing. But I just think that in today's world filled with war and bad news about people behaving badly, that things like this get swallowed up and set aside by events like this. I thought it was interesting that the company's average age of employee is 30 years old.
Yes, I saw that.
That's fascinating. Gives me a lot of hope for the future that there's so many smart young people out there that really are interested in space still. As Dan said, you know, there's a lack of interest, it seems, in space at this time. So that this company is filled with youthful employees gives me great hope for the future. I don't really understand how they managed to do this. This kind of technology is way over my head. But I appreciate that this is the stuff that movies are made of.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And it's happening in real life, and that people aren't, you know, as Dan would say, stupefied by that and absolutely fascinated. Kind of makes me sad for us as human beings where we are.
Right.
Because this should be a major event. Who cares about Facebook and their IPO? This should have been the latest news.
Yes.
It really should have.
Yeah. You know what this kind of reminds me of? There was a movie a couple years ago called The Astronaut Farmer, I believe. This guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was like. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I mean, this guy, he's like a farmer, and he like builds his own spaceship. He built a rocket in his own backyard. It's like
true story.
I'm sorry. It was what?
True story as well.
It's a true story. Oh, okay. I'll have to look that up. Next story here. Now, with plastic bags, it's a problem. I mean, it's a polymer based, and once you get rid of this stuff, you know, it gets tore up. They can't use it anymore. The stuff takes forever to degrade because of the type. It takes literally hundreds or even thousands of years for plastic to go back into break down its main elements. Now they're working on a fungus that can be used to break the plastics down, so it can basically rescue us from our own trash and for the world's biggest man-made environmental threats. University students over in Connecticut at Yale, the polymer of the fungus was found in the Amazon rainforest of all places. And it's funny that it can break down common plastics like polyurethane. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, like Chaos Agent just mentioned, it's going to depend on, you know, exactly what kind of plastics, but, you know, it's definitely something we need to look at, because a lot of this stuff is, you know, we have photodegradable plastics and that sort of thing, but a lot of the stuff simply doesn't break down without serious action. And, you know, the garbage that has piled up into, you know, the islands in the oceans is pathetic. And, you know, you really need to think about this sort of thing as far as green technology goes. You know, what are we gonna, you know, do with the stuff that's left over?
Yeah. You know, the thing about those islands of floating plastic out there, when they build an airstrip on there, then we know then it's a viable source of another place to put out in the ocean there. No, I'm kidding. No, we got to get rid of that stuff. No one seems to want to do anything about that. It needs to be cleaned up. I mean, we should find some way to clean up. But this is a good way. At least it's a good start. I mean, if we can get this stuff to degrade this stuff, maybe they will put that as a cooperative venture to go out and get this stuff and clean it up. Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, hoping for people to clean it up. I'm not going to wait around for that. Again,
well, I said hope. I didn't say it was. Youth. I didn't say. I said hope. I didn't say they were going to. I hope they do. You know.
Well, wash your hands then, because you can hope in one and wish in the other.
There you go.
And that plastic is going to keep on piling up. It's amazing that they, again, have found. These kids have found a way to clean up basically the mess of the past. You know, this stuff has been accumulating for generations now. And I saw today, this is a little off the subject, but there was a young man on TV today, and he discovered a simple test for pancreatic, not pancreatic, but prostate cancer.
Yeah.
A science show. And 15 years old. And he discovers this. It's just amazing what kids are finding in schools. When you think you've lost hope in their future, things like this brighten my day.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's always...
and don't use plastic as much as you can in your own life. I mean, get yourself a water bottle. You know, don't buy the bottled water. Buy the water that's, you know, in the big can, or haul your jug down there, those, you know, places where you can fill them up with fresh water, whatever. Do your bit to just because we have bacteria that can dissolve this stuff now doesn't mean that we don't need to change our habits as well.
Yeah, that's true.
And how we use plastic as a product.
Right. Now, myself, I use a water jug. I just fill it from the tap. That's all I do. I just keep refilling it, refill it. That's.
I'm not dead yet. I drink tap water too. I use Brita, you know, and I'm still.
I don't even use that. I don't even filter that. What's in the refrigerator? It settles, and that's all good.
You have faith.
It's not faith. It's just I just like the taste of water. I don't care as long as it doesn't have iron in it. I'm fine. And I live in the city, so it's all good. All right. Well, let's get into our next topic.
Politics.
Now Romney is off on his coupon thing again. He's, instead of saying coupons for when you get sick, he's saying, well, if you're going to do in school, well, you just kind of got to shop around. And we'll give you a coupon for your education. I was like, well, not all of us were lucky enough to be born into a multi-million-dollar family, Romney. Really. Some of us out here work for a living. And some of us don't even have a full-time job, me being one of them. It's just ridiculous that you go into an African-American neighborhood and then you say, hey, do you need to get a coupon? You go shop around. What are you thinking? I'm just so... I really don't think this guy has a snowball's chance come November. Really. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, the voucher program for schools like that is never... never this cure-all that they all expect. And Romney was talking about how, class size doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, really? You think it's going to be easier to teach a class?
Oh, no.
It's just as easy to teach a class of 40 kids as it is to teach a class of 12,
Oh, sure. Why not 100?
Where in the heck... I would hazard a
very
guess as to
smart.
where Romney pulls some of these ideas from, but he better have rubber gloves on. We'll put it that way. He has shown himself to be really very clueless about a lot of policy, and some people won't see through that, but a lot of us will.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The ones that actually think about this and who have to actually had to deal with the educational system in some respect. I mean, it's ridiculous that he thinks that you could just shove 100 people in the class, have one teacher try to control all that. That's not, and try to make sure that every student gets the sufficient time that they're going to need to understand the curriculum. In some cases, some students will go, I don't get it, and they're not going to have time with the teacher to figure this out, and they're going to fall behind. But I don't understand why he doesn't know this. Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, where is Eric when we need him?
Yeah, oh yeah, tell me about it.
He would be having a flummoxing fit right now.
I think you agree with him, sort of.
Oh, you might have me there, but as far as being a teacher and class size and all of that, I think that he would agree.
Yeah, no, he probably would.
This is a cornpone idea here that Mr. Romney has come up with, and he does not live in the real world.
Mm-mm.
He does not live in the real world with the rest of us. I mean, the last thing somebody needs to do is to take a voucher, sit there and stare at it and think, I've got one more thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go shopping for a school.
Yeah.
That is just absurd. As a parent, I would be just mortified. Absolutely mortified. Something else for me to do, and I'm going to be putting my kid in a class with 40 other children. As a parent, that makes me very angry.
Yes.
So, I wouldn't touch Romney, in November with a 10-foot pole or a 9-foot Swede. I'm telling you.
A 9-foot Swede, huh? Okay.
That's right. The guy is going nowhere. Real quick, just let him keep running his mouth, and he'll just fade away, and we'll go on with Obama.
Yeah,
That's my fantasy.
I would hope that he just kind of one of these days just kind of walks off the end of the earth, and just never seen
That would
from
be
again.
nice.
Yes, it would be.
We know it's flat.
Yeah. Chaos Agent in the chat room says, I don't think Eric would agree with the class size thing at all. And I kind of agree. I'm just kind of poking fun at him because he's not here. and because he's he's usually on the side of the GOP anyway, so I figured he'd figure out some way to make an excuse.
We can make fun of him now that he's gone and use him as an example.
That's right. No, we love you, Eric. We're just having fun with you. Our next story here: a New Jersey mayor and his son are accused of hacking a recall website. The mayor of the West New York, New Jersey. I didn't even know there was a West New York, much less one in New Jersey. The mayor there is under recall, like the recall that's going on here in Wisconsin for our Governor Walker, and he's not really a governor; he's a pretender. But anyway, I digress. Him and his son we're trying to figure out a way to take down the site. So they start learning all these hacking tricks, how to get into GoDaddy, how to get into the back door. So they send out some codes, get them to reset the reset password. Once they set the reset password, they start trying to delete the account and the whole domain. Turns out one of the people who have dominion over this domain is a government agent. Oopsie!
Oops!
Oopsie! And it has 3 letters in it. CIA. So, busted. Dan, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, this guy is all sorts of brilliant. How do you think you're going to get away with something this pathetic?
Yeah.
Just makes it even the more obvious that he does need to be recalled. He has no business being mayor of this city. All this stuff is that they've done is just patently obvious that you got no business being in government.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope they whatever they can find to charge him with, I hope they charge him with it.
Yeah, I think that some of it says here that they've got him with the authorizing computers without intentionally or without authorization or intentionally damaging or to a protected computer. So I think they've already got some of that taken care of right there. Medusa, your thoughts?
I mean, what was this? Take your kid to work day or something?
Maybe he thought he was anonymous and
come on, son. We're gonna go do this father-son thing here. We're gonna hack into somebody else's website. I don't know. I just laugh at the stupidity of it all. That they thought that they had that they could get enough technical know-how off the web to destroy this website. And for once, the CIA has gotten something right,
Well, it just happens to be this person that was involved with it just happened to be working at the CIA. So, and he's like,
just happened to be working at the CIA. Yep. How fun is that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he's also he doesn't understand the fact is when you go out into the cyberspace, you leave digital footprints bigger than Bigfoot, bigger than the Yeti.
I know.
Your fingerprints are all over the place.
Exactly. If it weren't so pathetic, it would be humorous.
Oh yeah.
It's like the Keystone Cops could have caught these guys. With the trail they left behind. So yeah, it's kind of amusing. I'm still going he he he. So recalled. He's been recalled.
Yeah. So given enough time, even if no matter how many firewalls or things you're behind, we'll get caught up.
We're gonna find you somehow.
Oh yeah.
There's in a cache somewhere. Somehow we're gonna find you.
Oh yeah. There was a couple years ago. There was a guy. He had been attacked by this hacker, and he's a computer expert in Colorado. And it took him several years, but he found this guy that had been hacking his websites, and it took like I said, it took several years. So you may not get it right away, but eventually you're going to screw up somewhere, and
we're going to get you.
Yeah, that's right, going to get you. All right, let's get into our next topic.
Give me the news.
Now, if you are out in the world there, and you are, and you get a little thirsty because it's hot out, whatever, and you're gonna go and grab for a Coke. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh,
don't do that, because one of its secret ingredients may need to carry a cancer warning. So you're drinking something that may give you cancer. Apparently, one of the ingredients has been noted to. It's a caramel color and flavor that gives off. The European Food Safety Authority reaffirmed that the safety of the caramel coloring as of March of 2011. It said that the presence of 4-MEI color coloring is not a health concern, but it's a possibility that it is, because it says it's. I read here that it causes cancer in mice and lymphoma in some other animals. I can't find it now. Oh, here it is. Let's see. Same dosage. I know I had it here a second ago. Well, I'll find it later. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it just so happens I'm drinking a can of Coca Cola right now.
Uh-oh.
But I've already got cancer, so I'm not worried.
Okay.
No, it's a little crazy. There's no evidence that 4-MEI, the methylamidazole, the caramel flavoring, there's no evidence that it's it causes cancer in humans.
Right.
It has been linked to cancer in mice and leukemia in rats.
That's it.
According to the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the extent of it right now.
Maybe you know what this should be? Maybe that mice and rats shouldn't drink a Coca Cola.
Exactly. If
No more
it reminds
for
me of the thing, the hamburgers cause cancer, and it's like, well, if you inject this hamburger under the skin of a rat, it developed cancer. Wow, I guess you shouldn't inject hamburgers under your skin.
Where's my hamburger shooter? I need to shoot me up some burger here.
Where are the people who stand up for the rights of mice?
It's moderation in all things. The idea that this is bad for you. Well, Tylenol will kill you if you take too much of it.
Yes.
So will the most of the medications that each of us take every day. There is a recorded half-lethal dose.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, at one particular dose, if you give that one particular dose to 100 people, half of them will die immediately from that dose.
Yeah, that's
the half-lethal dose.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to find that for just about everything. So everything can kill you just about.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of how much is too much. If I drink a couple cans of Coke a day, I'm not going to worry. Now, if I drank a case of Coke every day, I would be much more worried about diabetes than I would MEI4. Yeah, exactly.
I know people like this. I sadly just say that at one point I'd go through a case in a week, but that was it was a 12 case, but that was when I was in my early 20s. So, but that was Mountain Dew. It wasn't Coke. I don't know if that's any better, but
No.
I don't do that anymore. But I don't touch caffeine anymore, so I don't need it. I'm too crazy and wear it as it is, even without it. But you know what the number one cause of death in this world is?
Living.
That's it. That's exactly it. That's why
right,
that's
buddy.
living.
It'll kill you every time.
That's right. Life will kill you every time.
Like Jim Morrison said, no one here gets out alive.
That's right. You won't get out of this life alive. Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, I've always considered Coke to be a household cleaning product myself. Not something to be imbibed as a beverage.
Yeah.
I use it to clean battery acid off. And if I use it for stuff like that, I'm certainly not going to put it in my body.
Yeah. No, actually, they actually did a test of Coca Cola on the TV show MythBusters. There's a whole episode. There's one or two episodes that say, can it clean chrome? Can it do this? Can you do this? Some of it was yes. A lot of it was no. So if you want to get the skinny on that, you go to the MythBusters website. And
yeah, go there. That was a great show.
Yeah.
But it's a household cleaning product. Anything in excess is going to be bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to let my 17-year-old suck on Pepsis all day, of course he would. But I worry about diabetes in youth, so we can control how much he drinks.
Right.
Again, too much of anything is not good for you.
Yes.
Everything in moderation. That's what the Greeks say, and we know about moderation because we are an immoderate people.
Right.
We drink too much ouzo. We eat too much. We know what it is to be immoderate.
Right. There was not to cut you off there, but there was a story just today. I just happened to come across it that over in England, or the UK rather. I think that's the same place. I could be wrong. But they had to rescue a woman, 19 years old. She was 840 pounds. You want to tell me that she didn't overindulge into something there? So, hey, we do have a tendency to overindulge. Just I don't know why, as humans, as we kind of do this, but it's just one of those things, I guess. Our next story. What's that?
Give me some more cocaine.
Yes. That was one of the original ingredients of Coke. it was cocaine, but they got rid of that back in the early 1900s. Our next story here, Scotty, James Doohan from Star Trek, spent his most of his career and going through outer space, going to planets, and beaming down, beaming up, trying to save the ship. But after he died, they took his ashes, and now he's out in outer space for real. I mean, he's not experiencing that because he's dead, obviously. But it's kind of neat that for just around $3,000, you can have your ashes put into outer space. No, this isn't a commercial. You want to send me $3,000? I'll put you in outer space too. No, I'll throw real hard. I'll throw real hard. See how far I can throw you. No, but
bad Packard. Bad.
Sorry.
Somebody's got to spank you.
But no, this is really kind of cool. That the fact is that ordinary citizens can get their ashes put in outer space instead of just having them scattered all across the lawn or whatever you're done with your ashes afterwards. I think this is kind of neat. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of thing. Burial in space. It's not like burial at sea, like they did with Spock in one of the Star Trek movies, where they put him into a capsule and shoot him off to the new planet, that sort of thing.
Right.
This type of thing is a small amount of a person's ashes after they've been cremated are sent up in a container that was released. It's not actually part of the Dragon capsule itself. It was part of the second stage that was jettisoned at a certain particular altitude, and it will, over the next, I think, maybe a year or two, re-enter the atmosphere and burn up on re-entry.
Oh, that's sad.
But, this is the kind of thing that's, we always progress in the way we deal with our departed loved ones, from cultures where cremation is the only way to cultures where burial is the only way. Things change, things progress, and now that we've got a semi-permanent presence in space, it's another way to honor those who have touched our lives in some way or another.
Absolutely, and and your ashes on the way back in, and the capsule you have, it's going to burn up in the atmosphere as it comes back down anyway. So, if they could find a way to get it out further into space, so you float out there forever. Of course, then you'd be caught in a gravitational well somewhere eventually, and then you're back in the same boat again anyway. But just your thoughts.
I think I'd rather stay in an urn in Earth. However, all the best people are up there now. Scotty's up there with Hunter S. Thompson. So,
that's if he's still up there. I mean, well, if you're talking of Gene Roddenberry and his wife.
No, I'm talking of Hunter S. Thompson when he had his self-catapulted into space with a rocket.
No.
Johnny Depp paid for that little soiree.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, nice. So I guess this is another way for people to waste their money.
Yeah.
If you'd like to go and be in space, I guess it's a nice thing. But what would the Egyptians think? I don't know. That's what I keep asking myself that. What would they think about sending their loved ones into space? I think that they would want to, bury them in the ground or something like that.
Yeah, no, they like to stick a sting up their nose, scramble out their brains, and
Yeah, put your penis in a Coptic jar. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, ouch! I know the boys go ouch. So I don't know. It's neat. It's cool. It's fun. It's another way to spend your money.
Yeah. Maybe we should go back to that acid bath that we talked about a few shows back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, just completely. Just get rid of you altogether. I'm all for that. Get the lime out.
That was a show we did several years. It feels like several years. Earlier this last year, we had covered one where they basically it dissolves. They put in this special coffee. It basically dissolves the body completely. Anyway, let's get into our next topic. Yeah. Now, on this show, we rail against religion for many good reasons, because it deserves it for the most part. Now, there's a church out in California that the Franciscan priests were released as part of a sexual abuse lawsuit settlement that were out there. The Catholic order, and his order was named. His name is Brian Bronson. What happened? My story disappeared. Anyway, out in Los Angeles, Robert Van Handel was a 15-year-old seminary student and prestigious Franciscan boarding school when he said a priest slipped into the infirmary where he was recovering from a fever and began to molest him. The priest said, "Oh, this will help you heal. This, it helped draw the fever out of you by me touching you." Oh, sick, man. Oh. Sick. The guy is religious order was ordered to settle for $28 million in 2006 with the plaintiffs, who were alleged abuse of 9, not just 1, not 2, not 3, 9 people. 9 of these people. I mean, one of the people tried to get the abuse stopped. He made a complaint. Nothing happened. Oh, big surprise. I'm not. What? You go to the priest and say, hey, these guys are they're touching me. Okay, well, you just come with me. I'll touch you a little bit more. It's just really sick. Dan, your thoughts?
This does illustrate the vicious circle that abuse takes. He was abused by a seminary when he was a seminarian at the Franciscan boarding school, and then he goes on in later years to molest children while he's working as a Franciscan priest at the same boarding school. Mm-hmm. It really is beyond disgusting. When the authorities in the church higher up were notified, the investigation was begun immediately. The Franciscan order itself took it very seriously. The school internally itself didn't deal with the problem because I think like half of them were actually involved in it. Like you said, disgust is nowhere near the word we need to use for people like this.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it just these people. They go and they molest children. I know a lot of this is learned behavior because it happened to me. It must be okay, and so I'm just going to do this to another kid, and because it's okay in their mind, it's okay. Apparently, because in their Bible, molesting children doesn't say, the Ten Commandments doesn't say don't molest children, so it must be okay, obviously.
Yeah, Bill. It also says suffer the little children.
Yeah, make the children suffer. Dan or Medusa, your thoughts?
Well, that's what they're doing. It's just endemic in Catholicism, it appears to me, that this type of abuse continues to go on. I mean, Pope Ratzinger, that's how I prefer to refer to him, Pope Benedict, the new Pope, was supposed to be the person who was supposed to stop things like this, and instead he helped things like this along. I just don't think that you're ever going to be able to get this type of behavior out of the any type of situation where you have children and adults. I mean, there are teachers who are secular, non-secular rather, that are having affairs with their kids. I mean, everybody's having affairs with kids. If I were a parent nowadays, I would homeschool my child.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I just don't have the time to do that or the patience.
Well, I have a vagina and I'm a mom, and so I just to send my kids to school and to think that they wouldn't tell me about something like that.
Yeah, no, I just had this thought, because you said you had a vagina and everything. It kind of reminds me. No, it's not related to that. It's just that you're talking about the homeschool. It reminded me of an episode of Family Guy that the mother decides to homeschool Meg and.
Oh God!
And what's his name? What's the older son's name? I forget his.
Brian.
Brian. No, not Brian. Brian's the dog.
Oh. Josh, what's the name of the boy on Family Guy?
What is that boy's name? Well, anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. She's teaching the class, and he's passing a note to. Oh, it's Chris. That's right, it's Chris.
Chris.
He's passing a note to Meg, and. He stands. He says, "Teacher." He goes, "Oh, okay." Or what's the note you're passing? Read it to everybody. It's like, okay. It was like, I think the teacher's hot. She goes, "Chris, go to your room." So
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So we.
That's good.
So the whole homeschooling thing. It's. In this case, it was the reverse. It was like, oh, I think the teacher's hot, but
I just can't.
You can't
be
win
too careful with your kids.
Yeah.
And this kind of thing is out there, and you have to be aware and proactive parents. So, I'd like to blame the Catholic Church for everything, but I can't. Darn it.
Yeah. I wish we could too. But I guess can't blame everything on them, unfortunately.
No, I do try though. I get an A for effort.
Yes. All right, let's move on to our next story here. Pakistan, earlier this week, well, I should say this weekend, this last Sunday, as Joe had mentioned before we had left the air for last week, that last week was Mohammed, Draw Mohammed Day, I'll draw a stick, draw a little finger thing. You can't see it, but that's Mohammed because he's invisible.
Allah Akbar. Oh, God.
Right. Anyway.
I'm going to get killed now.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Pakistan, apparently, because of the tweets that were going out, they said, "Oh, you'll be offending us with your drawings of our Muhammad, of our Savior, or our God," or whatever whatever you think it is. And so they blocked Twitter. So once they did that, it was only thing is it only lasted for a few hours. The prime ministers got in and said, "No, you didn't unblock that," and it was unblocked. So, and there was just too many things that were going on. They blocked Facebook back in 2010, and because of all this stuff that was going on, and Twitter is more, I want to say, relevant than Facebook, because Twitter is the nervous system of the internet now. Facebook is kind of like the show, but Twitter is the nervous center. Since it is, blocking Twitter is a bad idea for any country, and a few countries have done this, but because Twitter refused to remove them or censor these tweets, they said, "No, you can't be over here." No, but they were able to get it unblocked. No. But put the blasphemy out on our stream. Dan, your thoughts?
Yeah, they had blocked Twitter for about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Granted, some, particularly on Facebook, a lot of the Draw Mohammed Day stuff has become rather tainted, shall we say, by people who are just out and out racist.
Yeah.
But actually blocking the stuff isn't the way to go about it. The way to counter speech is with more speech.
Yes.
And Pakistan has a very, very conservatively religious government, and they want control over the people. They want control over what the people see and hear. And, you know, it's an excuse for them, basically.
Yeah.
And more and more people over there are waking up to the fact that they like to be able to express their ideas without interference from the government.
Right.
I think it's a step forward for a lot of people over there, even though the government itself is still being very backward about this.
Yeah.
I had 2 comments on my own Draw Mohammed Day entry. One of them was from a young Muslim man in Southern California who said it's not, you know, it's not Muslims that despise this kind of thing. It's the hardline conservative Saudi Wahhabis that are against this sort of thing, and the hardline right wing in Pakistan. The second comment I had was actually from someone in Pakistan who told the first commenter that he wasn't a real Muslim because you know, this thing is forbidden, and if we don't stand up against this, then they're going to take away all our other things that are Muslim and destroy the Muslim culture.
Yeah, there's a guy.
That's what they're thinking.
Yeah, there's this video Thunderfoot put out. He's on YouTube. There, he shows this prime minister. This, I don't know if he's prime minister. He's one of these higher ups in the government there, and he's like he's talking in his language, and he's like, oh, this is God. Oh, they're blaspheming our God. Oh, I'm so sad. Oh, we gotta stop them. And the thing was, this is referring to the story we did where the Muslim that said, I'm going to shake your hand as an equal. Oh my gosh! Oh my God! You can't say that! Oh, whatever. Grow up, man. It's your imaginary friend. You think your imaginary friend cares or gives 2 squats? Really? No, don't think so. Just these people just need to grow up. Medusa, your thoughts?
No. We will not be offending Allah Akbar. This kind of furor happened over in was it Denmark? Dan would know the obscurity.
I think so.
Of this.
Yeah.
And the Danes and the Danes did not back down, and rightly so. And I think that Packard is right to a great degree that Twitter is almost the nerve center of the world right now, and it's the one bastion of free speech in the world, and people who have been kept down for a long time now are really learning to love Twitter for that. And that's a service that Twitter provides free to everyone. They're not going to Wall Street to open up an IPO.
Not yet.
Hello. No, there's no ads on Twitter. There's not a like.
Well,
button.
there are actually there are ads, but if you have certain software that, like mine is really old, you don't see the ads anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't see the ads either, so they're blocked. But Pakistan, go ahead and block Twitter. No more aid for you. I mean, they're already keeping that doctor in prison who helped us get Osama bin Laden.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and so we're threatening to withhold aid on that point. So they better just shut up and put up, as far as I'm concerned, because they're living on our dollar. So, we'll say and draw whatever we like about Mohammed. And if it offends you, that's too bad. You can just go to another web page and look at something else.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
how I feel. If it offends you, don't look at it. Look at something else then.
Well, I actually had a conversation over Twitter with someone just like this, over this kind of thing. It's like he was saying, well, if it's like with what's that lady, that young girl over that in Massachusetts that got that prayer banner removed from her school. They told
Jessica in Rhode Island.
Yes, Jessica in Rhode Island. I remember Jessica. I couldn't remember her last name. But she said they told her, well, if you don't like it, just don't look at it. That's not the point. The point is, in that instance, it was
No, I mean, if they don't like it, don't use the service.
Yeah. Well, in this case, they may not have a choice in that, though. So, I mean, I'm not defending them at all on this.
But you are.
I'm not. I'm trying. I'm just.
Yes, indeed.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm really not. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. There we go.
Well, the difference is that, one is private speech, one is speech on behalf of the government.
Right.
Completely different things.
Okay. All right. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was trying to say. But that's the point I was trying to say. But to tell someone that you don't like it, don't look at it. I guess it depends on context there. So
I say that a lot to people in my timeline. If you don't like it, don't look at it.
Yeah. So the thing is, I had the point is that the local newspaper out here, they posted. I got really pissed off about this. I'll explain here. We got a few minutes, even though we're running late. They posted on the front page how this local daycare center is going to be teaching religious studies at a daycare center, and they put it on the front page of their paper, and then on the near back page, on the page 7, they buried the story, and they buried it on their website as well, where the Catholic Church had to pay up several grand, or like $8,000 or $8,000 or $32,000. I forget what it was exactly, but they got, because they were found that they had been molesting this guy, and the priest there had been molesting him, and he basically won his battle with them, and but they buried it. But they put this other story. Oh, we're going to teach your kids religion. Yeah, shove your religion down your throat department. They're pushing religion constantly in this local paper. And then the reason I bring that up is because when I posted to the guy who works at the paper, and I've had conversations with him before, and this guy goes, well, if you don't like it, just don't look at it. No, that's not the point.
No, that isn't the point.
That's right. That's not the point. Right, exactly. That's how I tried to explain it to him. That's why I said that's not the point here, because we live in a secular country.
I mean, does the newspaper make a point of coming out and say we're all free speech and unbiased? No. I mean, they have an agenda. Yeah. The owners have an agenda, and that's what they push. Yeah. I mean, our local newspaper has a somewhat conservative agenda, and it's quite obvious from reading it. And
the same goes for my hometown newspaper. I live in a town that's got about 50,000 people and about 400 churches. That's one church for about every 400 people.
Yeah.
I did the math. I mean, that's really excessive. I mean, I don't like to see all the churches. Every corner I turn in this town, there's another church.
Yeah.
Or there's another church going up.
Yeah.
So I think it's, again, it's my favorite word of the night, endemic in American culture. We're just so infused with religion that you can't get away from it. You can't not look at it. And it's sad that there's not a non-secular section in newspapers, so that atheists and agnostics and non-believers can get in there with their thoughts on things.
See, that was kind of my point, is that
where's our equal time?
Right, exactly. It was also that's part. Like I said, part of my point is that because you're pushing out a paper to many readers, I think they have a responsibility to be as balanced as possible.
Oh no! That's completely no.
No.
They do not have a responsibility at all. Period.
Oh, okay.
Their bottom line is making money. That's it. It doesn't matter.
Well, I guess I'm just an idealist then.
Well, yeah, but it would be nice. But that's they don't care what anybody thinks about what they write, as long as they keep the circulation numbers up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because newspapers
And
are dying.
if the
by droves.
local area is, leans toward the conservative side, that's what they're going to be pushing. Or if the owner of the newspaper leans toward the crazy side, that's what they're going to be pushing. I mean, look at World Nut Daily with Joseph Farah. I mean, he's
Rosebud,
full goose bozo, and that's exactly the kind of stuff he puts out.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
and the only thing where it comes into the equal time kind of thing is in broadcast, because the airwaves belong to the public. And
thank you, Jesus.
And when it comes to providing equal time, it's like for political parties or the cable access shows, you'll find anti-Semitic Holocaust deniers with public access cable shows. But you're also able to go in and get an atheist public access cable show too, and they have to provide that kind of they can't deny you on that basis. It has to be a free and open forum, whereas a private newspaper that is actually done by subscription that you have to pay for doesn't have to do that sort of thing. This is the same way with cable TV, that the HBO is a subscription service privately, so they don't have to go by FCC regulations about speech and open access, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. Like I said, I guess I'm just an idealist, and I'm just trying to find some equal time for us.
It would be nice.
Yes. It would be, but I guess...
It would be splendid.
Yes. Like I said, oh well. I guess I won't rail against the newspaper anymore.
Just keep sparkling, Packard.
I was going to embarrass the hell out of them, but I've been trying to, but
and a lot of newspapers really are very agenda driven like that.
That's sad to say. That's sad to hear, unfortunately. Oh well. Since we have basically beat this topic to death.
We ran the gamut on this one, I'll tell you.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And our funny tweet this evening comes from Weird Ralph. That's WEIRDRALPH. He says, you can tell a lot about a woman by her hands. For example, if they're around your throat, she's probably upset.
That's most excellent. Because I can tell, as a woman, it's true.
Yeah.
I often have my hands around men's neck.
Why is she waving at me but only using one finger? I don't get it.
That old salute there. I love you, baby. Yeah.
The one finger salute.
Bafangu.
Dan, your thoughts?
Oh, that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's made great strides at it as a man understanding women. That's for sure.
Yes. So anyway, but if you guys make sure you guys get your funny tweets out, say something funny to the week. Maybe you might be in the next funny tweet that's featured here on the show. All right, let's get into our shout out for this week.
Hey, you guys!
Our shout out this week comes from Dan. And Dan is doing, let's see, his name is, let's see here, Christopher Banks, and he's at BIPOLARBEARNZ, Bipolar Burners.
Bipolar Bear.
Bipolar Bear, okay. Bipolar Bear.
That's huge.
Bipolar Bear, New Zealand, yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Bipolar Bears, okay. Dan, tell us about Bipolar Bears.
Christopher he's a filmmaker, he's a journalist, and a musician, and he's got some experience with bipolar disorder. And he's also a bear, as in the LGBT term bear. He's kind of a burly guy. And he and his partner live in New Zealand, and he's very cool. He's an LGBT activist, and has done a lot of work in public relations for the New Zealand AIDS Foundation, Mental Health Foundation, and that sort of thing. Very cool guy.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice guy that you want to get to know. So if you're out on Twitter, and if you're not on Twitter, why aren't you? Give Bipolar Bear follow. It's BIPOLARBEARNZ.
Excuse me.
I have a question.
I have a question, sir.
What are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
Our question this week. Let's see here. I lost my folder with my questions. There it is. Our question from last week was, let's see here. If you could go have a 2-week all expenses paid vacation to anywhere in the world for free, but you wouldn't remember any of it afterward, where would you go? And that was, we had a couple of one reply on that. That was from Wizard of Todd. I would like to. He says I would have a week-long threesome with Bachman. That's Michelle Bachman, obviously. Bachman 2012 and Sarah Palin, USA. In an extremely remote location. They would look like they would be minks in a sack, but would you really want to remember, and would you want anyone to know?
I don't want to think of them as naked. That's scary. Can we send Michelle Bachman there too?
No, that would be Michelle Bachman. That was Bachman.
Okay,
Bachman
yeah.
2012 and Sarah Palin, USA. Yeah. So, but I have to agree with that. I don't think I would want to remember that one either.
No.
I don't think I'd want anyone to know. All right, let's get our question for this week, and this one is from Medusa, and Medusa, the question is, actually, do you remember your question?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, would you tell us what the question is?
Okay, you know how there's fantasy football, and you pick your teams, and I'm not a big football fan, but I know that there's fantasy football. But for me, I was thinking, what if you had a fantasy football team for politicians?
And that would be kind of interesting.
Okay. So people don't like the Obama-Romney pairing. Pick your president and have your own fantasy electorate. And so pick the president that you like and put him up against somebody that you dislike. And it can be a president that's alive today, or it can be a president who's dead. So
it has to be a president. It would have to be a president, not just anybody that we would like to...
It has to be a president, yeah.
Oh, okay. It has to be a president, okay.
Like, for instance, I would like to put Tricky Dick and Dick Cheney up against Obama and Abraham Lincoln.
Wait, which one would be president, which would be vice president?
Cheney's always going to be the second string.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Obama and Lincoln.
I think Lincoln's the big guy here, and that Obama would gratefully be his second man. So I'm putting Lincoln out first, and Obama as VP, and I'm putting Dick first and Dick second.
That would be one weird combination.
That's what I think about. That's what I thought.
That is extremely strange. Dan, who would you think the fantasy presidential race would be?
Oh gosh.
Do you have fantasies, Dan?
Yeah, but
I'd have to go with Jimmy Carter and oh gosh.
Who's the second string?
Yeah, I know. I'd have to go with Jimmy Carter and LBJ
Nice.
for one team. And oh gosh, I do like the idea of Tricky Dick and Dick Cheney, though. That'd be quite a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I kind of agree with you there.
Uber evil.
Yes. I was thinking about this question too. I'd put up Thomas Jefferson and George Washington against those two as well. I think that would be the best mix there.
Dream team there.
Yeah, George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. against Dick Cheney and
Tricky Dick.
and Cheney, Cheney and Tricky Dick, those two against each other. I'd like to see them battle it out. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be fun. Let the fur fly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Two greatest men in history against the two knuckleheads. Oh yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. So
I just left George out of it.
there you go. So
we did the first time around anyway.
Right. So if you have an answer for this week's question, if you were have a fantasy presidential race, and who would your dream team be would take to take the White House in 2012, who would they be? Send it to Medusa Rants on Twitter, or to Dan, or to myself, or send it to, if you're watching us on YouTube, just push it into the comment section below, and we'll put that out in the show come next week. All right, that's it for us tonight. Haha, we actually made it. We only had one screw up for the.
You had to wake me up.
Yeah, we had to wake up. We had to wake up Medusa out of her long slumber. But yeah, it's. But anyway, we also had a little late start this evening because some technical difficulties. Always, if you come to a live show sometime, and you should come to the live show, you'll see all these little stuff that will be edited, that often gets edited out after the fact. If you want to join us at a live show, come to justin.tv/PackardPokes at 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time at wherever, Central Daylight Time. Just look for Chicago and whatever time it is there, and then just make sure it's 9 o'clock there, and then you'll figure it out. But if you want to reach us on Twitter, and if, like I said, if you're not on Twitter, why aren't you? You can reach Dan on Twitter as
Rel Unrelated. That's RELUNRELATED.
right, and you can reach Medusa on Twitter as
Medusa Rants, MEDUSA_RANTZ, and on the West Coast, the show starts at 7 p.m.
right.
Just for our West Coast people, so I want to get them to listen to the show.
Right. The thing is why it keeps changing time zones, because the Earth is round.
I thought it was flat. I kept pushing people off.
It's only flat in Wisconsin. No.
That's Jesus land.
Oh yeah, no, that's down. That's south of me.
That's right. You're not in Jesus land. You got out of that.
Yeah, we moved out of there, but I just think we're sliding back into it.
You're in the United States of Canada.
Yeah, well, part of it anyway. If you want to get the show notes, you go to PackardPokes.wordpress.com, and you can get all the show notes there. And if you would like to make a donation to the show, just put it in there. Or if you'd like to place an ad, contact me at PackardPokes@gmail.com, and we'll get you on we'll get your ad here on the show. If you would like to reach me on Twitter, I'm Packard_Sonic. That's PACKARD_SONIC. You can reach the show notes, or the show Twitter's account, at PackardPokes, all one word. You get show announcements when the show comes out and is posted. Well, again, thanks everybody for coming. We had some new people in the chat room tonight, and thank you for coming. And I'm glad you're enjoying the show. If you can't get the show live, you can download the show on iTunes. It's just a podcast for right now. And it's at just go to PackardPokes.wordpress.com. There's a link how to get your account at iTunes, or just go to iTunes and type in Packard Pokes, and you'll find it there. Or go to YouTube. It's youtube.com/Packard Pokes, and you'll be able to catch the live show after the fact. Thanks again for coming. This has been an interesting show, and we love these kind of shows, but we do have to keep going. Well, thanks again. This has been Packard Pokes. We just poked at your news.
And that's a wrap.